Hello, fellow female activists. Your wellness coach, Cathy here. And hello to anyone else who's new here. So, this is wellness playlist. We are talking about movement and we're talking about weighted vest. Oh, yeah. No, this is not sponsored. So, anyone who's here, who's new, hi, hello. When we are on our wellness or recommendation playlist, we always start with our positive quotient repetitions. Positive quotient repetitions or PQ reps. And this one, we are going to go ahead and keep our eyes open. And usually, a lot of times you'll notice that I say to close our eyes if you wish. In this instance, I actually want you to keep your eyes open. And you'll find out why. So you can be sitting, standing, laying down. Obviously, only if you're safe to do so. We want you to concentrate in something in front of you, at something in front of you. Okay. And go ahead without getting too deep into the nuance here. Simply look at something if you're able. And then I want you to give it a lot of attention, but not so much that, all you're thinking about is this. Very leisurely, look at whatever you're looking at and start to notice. What are you looking at? What color is it? What's the texture like? Is it dark? Is it light? Is there a reflection from natural light? Just notice. Now, go ahead and choose something else to look at, but don't give it such attention like you did the first. Just kind of gaze, give it a soft gaze, and feel free to keep looking at it, but let it be in the background almost, like let it kind of, again, softly gaze. And while you're looking, and if you feel free to close your eyes, you can at this point, but again, soft gaze at whatever you're looking at. Now, if you're able, listen to the furthest away sound you can hear. Now, listen to the closest sound you can hear. And finally, switching to our feet, go ahead and again, you can still perform this laying down, but place your feet on whatever surface is closest and make sure all four corners of your feet are nice and sturdy and grounded in that surface. Lift your toes and spread them, and then bring them back down, but keep them spread. And hopefully you feel a little bit even more grounded. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and blink them open. That, my friends, is PQ reps. It is a way to bring your mind back into connection with your lovely body. We want to realize that, just because the medical field doesn't see our mental health as connected to our whole entire body, hey, you know what? That's okay. We know better. We require both connected, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen. And again, I don't get any sponsorships. Not that I don't necessarily want any, but as of this moment, no one wants to, be a sponsor for me, and that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Meaning I've never asked per se, but I definitely wanted to share this because it's interesting. and I don't need that. So I want us to concentrate on weighted vest. And why is this important? You're looking right now at a fairly recent article. Okay, so this person is a runner, but they're obviously they are a health professional, and they wrote an article about the 10 best weighted vests. Okay, so she's a personal trainer and a running coach. And I like this list because it was, pretty well thought out, and, she gives the recommendations. And I have the top ones that I liked. Now, we're talking about weighted vests. Why? Well, because weighted vests are a really cool way. Okay, so it's a wearable, so to speak, but it's not electronic wearable, meaning that you're not worried about how many, steps you're taking. You're not, it's not something that's giving you kind of like a high level of anxiety in some cases. Okay, but what it is doing is that it's automatically helping you create more strength. And we want bone health. Okay, that's crucial, especially in our perimenopause and menopause years and postmenopause, especially. We want to have stability. We want to have overall strength. Okay. So, I will say this, I will brag on myself a little. So, I've always loved strength training. Okay. And I did not like running. I always said that I only run when chased or only ran when chased. And that was very funny to my first coach. So, over time, because of my coach and because it just made the most sense, I actually started to like running. Yes, believe it or not. Someone who used to say that Shoni Raman Chase ran a half marathon. Okay. And at some point, I think I will run a marathon, a full one. But with that said, running, okay, was something that I didn't particularly like all the time. And I understood that it was a really fun way to connect with people. Okay. I used to swim laps, and that's better for your joints, but it's not the funnest, right? I mean, you can't really, I mean, you can have, a crew to go swimming with, but you can't really talk during the swimming itself. Okay. And all respect to swimmers. I love them. I mean, I was probably in some of the best shape of my life when I did swim laps. And I want to pick that up again, especially in my post-menopause phase. I mean, it's a wonderful way. But I digress. What I'm getting at here is that I would run, okay, and I would run with a few friends, new friends that I gained, and they were training for a half marathon. And so all I wanted to do was be able to run 10 kilometers in in an hour. I was like, that's my goal. So we got to that point. All right. And then we finished it, and she's gonna leave us now to, go it along for the half marathon. I'm like, no, I can continue on. Okay. Uh, it wasn't my goal, but I'm like, you know what? These ladies stuck with me for my goal, and I can help them out, right? So within that time frame of when we started running together, okay, I met Michael halfway through, but then we continued on together because I decided to keep running with them. I wasn't signed up for the half marathon, but we ran a half marathon right before their scheduled ones. And again, in between that time, right, we were training together the whole time. Now they were solely runners. They didn't, like me, strength train. And yet, even though we only ran together once a week, and yes, I had cardio drills twice a week. Okay, so it wasn't like I was only running once a week, but again, I'd only train with them once a week for actual, whatever their program was asking of them, I would go along with it. But I would still have my own little cardio session. So I wasn't running heavy, but I was in basically, I would conduct drills for more, for all intents and purposes. The interesting part, because of my strength training, okay, I was able to propel myself as fast as these two all week runners. Okay, so again, I didn't run all week like they did. And they didn't run all week, right? Like they would have at least 2 days off. But what I'm getting at, okay, is because of my strength, because of my endurance through strength training, I was able to keep up with them every single time I ran with them. Okay. Um, that says something. I had muscle propulsion. Okay. I wasn't the best runner. Okay. But I was able to utilize my strength, my muscle mass, right? Okay. And my endurance to keep up with them, even though I only ran with them once a week. And then again, the other two times I was either like on a elliptical or I was again speed walking on a treadmill or possibly running drills on the treadmill. But again, I wasn't again in their dedicated running schedule, right? So I say all that to say strength training is imperative. And we also do require some type of cardio, right? For me, again, running is cool because you don't need a pool. So that's why I would probably take up running again when the time's right for me. I do love swimming, but again, because I want to have a little bit more freedom in how I partake in that, right? It means that I'll probably take up running at some point. So I want to be able to use uh, some type of modality, okay, in this case, a vest, not just when I'm strength training now, but in my everyday function, okay, so that when I get ready to run again, I may not run with the vest, but I darn well can walk with it on a daily basis. And I do have a walking, or I should say, I do have a vest, a weighted vest, but I can use that vest, okay, in my daily chores, in my daily function. Why? Because when we are adding, okay, resistance of any kind, and it doesn't just have to be strength training drills or, in a strength training mode, when we are adding any type of resistance, okay, we are then telling our body we get to get stronger. Now, yes, you want proper nutrition, you want definitely proper hydration. But the instance, right, of adding on a vest, only if it's safe for you, you always want to talk to your, primary care physician and so forth and so on, to your health team. But I can honestly tell you, it would be a wonderful way to always, again, up that ante when it comes to how you build up your strength. Maybe you don't like going to a gym. I get it. I totally get it. I want to build up a home gym, right? I mean, unfortunately, I don't have a room for a squat rack. So that would mean I do get to a gym, be when I want to perform that type of stuff. And I can still have sufficient equipment at home so that I don't always have to go to a gym, right? So a weighted vest is a wonderful way, okay? And it's a very effective way because you can use that weighted vest for everything. When you are just out and about, you can wear the weighted vest if you wish. For sure when you go walking, for sure when maybe you are, again, conducting chores in your residence, maybe, it could be possible for any type of rehab, right? I wanted to share with you the type of vests I think are useful. Now, again, this is a really good article, and the links are from this article. So, the weighted vest that I like the most is this one. I like this one. And again, I am not sponsored by these organizations at all, but I like this one. I like the full vest simply because there's no weights in it, but I think you can add, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I wanted to just show you the different styles of the actual like vest types, right? But this is really cool. Now the price, yeah, there's a lot of, privilege going on here. Again, I would have to save for this, but I do like this one. It seems very, very user friendly. The only thing I don't like are the little straps right here, or I should say the strings, because those would get annoying if you're running. I'll tell you that. But walking, I could probably handle it. But you can understand how easy it would be to utilize something like this, right? And they have different versions, right? Like you choose your type. Then they have, this is another brand, okay? So this again is another entire vest though, and then you put the little weights in here. The other one, these are actually weights, okay? So these beads are the weight themselves, but I don't know if you can actually add more. So again, you would add the weights. And again, this is cool because at least These don't have the strings falling down, but it's a whole vest, which I love. Okay. And different side views. Okay. Another version. This one um, seems like would be the better option for me, at least. I love this one just from the style and the usefulness or the look of it. But this one is washable. So always go with what's functional for you, right? This one you can wash. And I like that because I live in the desert. So this is going to get dirty really quick. And then we have, oh, sorry, this type. Okay. So not only can you get a vest type, okay, and this one's cool because it only has drawstrings, so nothing's, going to get in your way. This one, though, is a little, on the more affordable side. And don't forget, right, that you can get this. Oh, wait, sorry, that's where it was. I wanted to make sure that you all saw the different, say, here we go. So again, we have different styles, right, based on what you would want to go with. Why am I showing you this? Because understand, and then I want to show again the person who wrote this article. So it's a very well fit is the magazine or platform, and then Christine Luff. Okay, she is a personal trainer and running coach, and again, check her out. I have no affiliation with her whatsoever, but I thought it'd be useful. Again, I only share this with you because it's important, once again, to understand that there are so many ways to up the ante when it comes to your health. Now, again, body weight is absolutely okay if you're just starting out. Okay, your movement is important. And if maybe, especially, even if you're an experienced person who's been moving their body forever, like me, if you are coming back from an injury, you do not want to add insult to injury, quite literally, by saying, I'm going to go right back to whatever I was doing. Guess what? That's not a good thing. Your therapist is going to yell at you. Your PT is going to say, not happening. You always want to give yourself that opportune moment to get back into it easy, right? Like to warm your body up to where it should be or where it was. So that means body weight usually, okay? Modifications, obviously. And then once you're ready, right, to up the ante a little, that's when you add in something like a weighted vest. The reason why, again, I bring it up is because you can use a weighted vest not just from the point of view, same can be for ankle weights, same can be for hand weights, or I should say, ankle weights you can put on your wrist. What I'm getting at is you can use certain, uh, you know, exercise equipment in unconventional ways that will still get you the same result if you were, again, using 10-pound dumbbells, right? I'm not going to walk around with 10-pound dumbbells all the time. And I could, though, wear a vest that is 10 pounds, right? Because it's not impeding me, assuming I can handle it, right? You don't have to start off at 10 pounds. It can easily be, I think one of those was as little as 4 pounds. But 4 pounds makes a difference, right? When you are upping the ante to up level your health, it doesn't have to take extraordinary efforts. You always want to start with modifications, right? You always want to start with body weight, right? So modifications, however necessary, whenever necessary. Body weight, okay, very, very effective. And then you move up a little, right? Once you've gotten as far as you can go with the body weight, that's when you might want to add in a weighted vest. Why? Because it's not anything you have to worry about. It's not going to take up room. It can hang, hopefully, with, behind a door or in the on a really heavy hanger. I'm not sure where you store those type of, but you get what I'm meaning. So there are ways to get healthy. And yes, some are going to be an investment, but there were some in that category that were like supposedly under 20 bucks. However you decide that you would like to try maybe a weighted vest, look into it, get your research done, and just realize, right, that there is an adjustment period. And once you've gotten past that adjustment period, then you start to really realize, ooh, you get creative. How can I utilize this, piece of equipment and still make it worth my while. So there are ways to get healthy that are going to fit into your lifestyle, that are going to fit into your pocketbook, and you can get creative. As long as you're safe and the equipment is not being used completely out of its ordinary use, you're going to be okay. And I say that because a lot of times I use my ankle weights more as just weights for my upper body. I would need to buy another pair of ankle weights sometimes in my Pilates on my online live class that I go to. My instructor is using hand weights, but she has ankle weights on. Well, I only have one pair of ankle weights. Yes, I could invest in more, and I will at some point, but for the most part, I'd rather up the strength in my body because I know that my legs are, they're stronger, I should say, than my arm strength. So I want to up the ante on my arm strength as well as just make sure, I can maintain um, the lower body. So again, weighted vests, very cool. They are, again, in a different, spectrum of pricing. But and when you can, dive into it, I would say go for it because it's a safe way to add a lot of stability and it's going to help your posture as well because you're gaining strength, right? You have to be able to hold up, right? That torso, okay? And what better way than to add a little bit of extra extra weight and then let gravity help out, right? Gravity, very, very useful if you really look into it. And then when you add in resistance, totally changes the game. Okay. So don't take gravity for granted. And then when you do add on extra resistance, just know, yes, gravity is always there and it's gonna add the ante, up the ante each and every time. But yeah, I would say look into a weighted vest because there are different variations, there's different, types, and it's well worth the time and effort to help you, again, build up your strength, especially again in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. So with that, we will see you at the next video. Take care and take charge.